Madam Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition, and Honorable Members of Parliament. It is a great honor and privilege indeed to be standing here in front of you all distinguished members of the Parliament to make my inaugural speech. Firstly, Madam Speaker, I would like to congratulate you on your reappointment as the Speaker of Parliament. Having worked with you previously at the Ministry of Health during the late 1980s, I know how talented, efficient, and transparent you were in your work. This I have seen you continue to implement in your current role as Speaker of the Parliament. Madam Speaker, I would also like to thank His Excellency, the President of Fiji, for his most gracious and inspiring speech. Many of the areas of His Excellency's speech touched upon raising our living standards and making our life better. Madam Speaker, I graduated from the Fiji School of Medicine in 1975. After my internship at the Lautoka Hospital, I was posted to your home island of Onoilau to serve the compulsory rural attachment program for doctors. This is where I began to learn the art of medicine and the importance of public health, which is essential for every doctor. This is also where I learned that the delivery of health services should be people-centered and not focused on health facilities or doctors and nurses and medicines only. I would like to sincerely thank and acknowledge the people of Onoilau for giving me this great and historic opportunity in my life, which build a strong foundation for the rest of my professional career. This is also why I learned to live and respect the culture and tradition of our Itokai brothers and sisters. They also taught me fishing and kayaking and survival skills to live in the remotest places in the world. Madam Speaker, after serving the people of Fiji for 20 years, from 1976 to 1996, in the capacity of a medical officer, sub-divisional medical officer, divisional medical officer, assistant director, and director of primary and preventive health services, I joined the World Health Organization in 1996 to assist in developing countries such as Cambodia, Papua New Guinea, Mongolia, and China, to strengthen the healthcare services and improve the lives of poor and vulnerable families and communities. Madam Speaker, my heartfelt thanks to the Regional Director of the World Health Organization, Western Pacific Region, Dr. Shin Yang-Su, and many of my WHO country representatives who supervised my work and gave me opportunity to contribute to the global health initiatives in many developing countries. Our goal was to improve the health and well-being of people and communities, especially those who are poor, vulnerable, and disadvantaged. Madam Speaker, I'll be failing in my duty and consciousness if I do not take time to thank some of the great pioneers of Fiji's health services. These are the people who laid such a strong and unshakable foundation of our nation's health service, on which we are continuing to build and improve day by day. They should never be forgotten. The late Dr. Panisakuru Sangila, who was the longest-serving Minister of Health and then became the Speaker of Parliament, was such an humble and distinguished health professional who gave an outstanding contribution to establish primary health care in our country. I had the opportunity to travel widely in his company from islands in Lau Group to Lomai Viti, Kandavu and Asawes, and the highlands and interior of Viti Levu and Vanua Levu, understanding the basic health needs of our people and communities, and used primary health care as an approach to reduce infant and maternal mortality rates. improve water and sanitation, and control epidemic diseases. I salute late Dr. Kurusangila for being my mentor and also teaching me some of the essential requirements for a political career. Dr. Kurusangila taught me that if you ever join politics, never expect to get anything in return from the country or the people, but only to think in terms of providing selfless service. Madam Speaker, my teachers at the Fiji School of Medicine, University of Otago in New Zealand, University of Sydney in Australia, and other health academic institutions around the world provided me with the knowledge and skills and taught me the essential requirements to be a good and a caring doctor. They deserve a special mention, and I acknowledge their contribution in shaping my professional career. At this juncture, Madam Speaker, I would also like to thank all those unsung healthcare workers, including doctors, general practitioners, nurses, pharmacists, dentists, lab and X-ray technicians, and other paramedical staff who are tirelessly working in most challenging situations, especially in rural and remotest places, to provide health care to our population. Madam Speaker, I witnessed the 1987 military coup firsthand. The 1987 military coup saw a massive brain drain of our experienced and dedicated human resources from many of our government departments in Fiji. This included our most experienced health specialists like Dr. Karan Singh, Dr. Parshuram, Dr. Bhupendra Patel, Dr. Bhupendra Patik, Dr. Vinod Singh, and many more who left the country at a very short notice and now are working abroad. Madam Speaker, I sincerely thank our Honorable Prime Minister, Josiah Bainimarama, for his courage, vision, and foresight in bringing back our beloved country on the path of democracy and establishing back the fundamental human rights of its people. Giving national identity Fijian to all the citizens of this country and providing equal rights to all without distinction of race, color, or creed. Madam Speaker, the Bainimarama government during the last 4 years has also concentrated on bridging the gap between rich and poor by providing tax incentives, free education, free health services, such as free medicines and free consultations at public hospitals, subsidized treatment for chronic diseases, and welfare assistance to the elderly and the people with disability. All these initiatives, Madam Speaker, has created great confidence in our country, not only among our local people, but our international partners as well. In the health sector, I have seen that there is a great interest among some of our specialist doctors and other healthcare workers who had left the country during the difficult days, now wanting to return and help and strengthen our health services once again. Madam Speaker, one such group of doctors who are experts in tertiary care, especially open heart surgery, renal transplants, and treatment for cancers, have even developed proposals to establish a world-class tertiary care health facility in Fiji, with full ranges of diagnostic and therapeutic services, so that our patients who need such care can be treated here close to their home. They have a proposal to attract 40 or so of our local doctors who had left and others to return to Fiji and support developed tertiary health services. Madam Speaker, such confidence in our country was created by Bainimarama government that has already led our international health partners such as the Heart International in Nandi and Miyot Private Hospital in Suva to establish state-of-the-art specialist cardiac and other health services locally, which people can access easily. We also have recently entered into a public-private partnership with the Australian Aspen Hospital. This partnership will ensure that a number of clinical procedures currently not available in Fiji will be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is all because of our Honorable Prime Minister, Josiah Bainimarama, and I would like to thank him wholeheartedly once more. Madam Speaker, I would also like to note and acknowledge the vast contribution made by the Friends of Fiji Heart Foundation, led by distinguished Professor Parmanand, who comes from Lambasa. Dr. Parmanand continues to support our health services by bringing in a large number of heart specialists and support paramedic staff and treat adult and pediatric patients who need cardiac care at zero cost to our patients. On behalf of the people of Fiji, I would like to salute and thank Dr. Parmanand and his dedicated team of specialist doctors, nurses and administrators for such a great foresight and worthy cause. Madam Speaker, I retired from active service after 18 years of being away, working with the World Health Organization in several developing countries. I chose to retire and live in Fiji only because of our Honorable Prime Minister Frank Bainimarama made us feel that Fiji is our home, gave us a common national identity, and treated us equally in all respects. I live in the most beautiful province of Nandronga, known for the friendliness of its people and the vast resources we have. I thank our people of the province for preserving such characteristics. I had no intention to join politics, especially after spending 38 long years as national and international civil servant, serving the people around the world. Madam Speaker, the policies, plans and strategies put in place by the current government to make Fiji a modern nation, one of the best in the world, where there is dignity, safety and security for all citizens, touched my heart. This made me join politics and choose Fiji First as the party to contest the 2018 general elections. Madam Speaker, being away from home for 18 years and only returning to resettle here during the last 4 years was not an easy task to win the hearts of our people and win a seat in the parliament. I think it was God's wish to call me to contest these elections. I pray and thank the Lord for giving me this opportunity to serve the people of Fiji. This would have been a very proud moment for my late parents, Mr. and Mrs. Shugovido Folosara Singatoka, who were keen farmers and struggled to get me educated. Madam Speaker, again, thanks to the Bainimarama government for providing free education for all. Many children like me can now reap the benefits of free education and have better jobs. Madam Speaker, it is my humble duty to thank everyone, including my voters, supporters and campaign staff who worked day and night tirelessly to organize and implement my campaign successfully. It was not an easy task. As we went around the country looking for support, many had forgotten me, and many friends and families were not there anymore. My special thank you goes to my campaign team, consisting of Mr. Yashu Nandan, Mr. Kashi Ram, Ms. Neelam Ram, Mr. Divnil Sharma, and Mr. Muhammad Ali. Madam Speaker, behind the success of every man there is a woman. This is extremely true of my success as well. My dear wife, Dr. Nalin Sharma Govind, is present here in the gallery today. She is a psychiatrist and a mental health specialist. She has also worked in Fiji's health service previously at the St. Giles Hospital and now looking forward to support mental health services in our country. She was the pillar of my campaign and helped provide me with not only the logistical support, but the much needed psychological and social support that every candidate needs in an election like last. I thank her for being such a great inspiration for me throughout the campaign. My two children, Madam Speaker, Mr. Nitesh Ram Govind, a solicitor with the Auckland City Council, and Ms. Nitika Shalini Govind, who is studying medicine in Australia, were of tremendous help and provided me distant support in terms of their advice. Madam Speaker, let me tell Parliament and the people of Fiji that I have not joined politics to seek any glory, honor, or pride. I have decided to join politics with only one goal, and that is to share my vast experience in health and provide you with my humble service so that you enjoy your life to the fullest. I look forward to collaborating closely with the Honourable Minister for Health, Honourable Ongani Bete, and his Assistant Minister, Honourable Alexandra O'Connor, and their team to implement strategies and plans to achieve quality health service, not health service alone, which can be easily accessible and affordable to the people of Fiji. Madam Speaker, our Prime Minister has shown the world that he is the champion leading the fight against climate change. Climate change and its effects on people, including the impact on health, is a major global issue and is the talk in every country. We all have to contribute to this debate so that solutions can be found and we prevent some of the consequences rather than wait for the cure of its devastating effects. Madam Speaker, for the first time in the history of Fiji, our Honourable Prime Minister has highlighted a public health issue of global significance at the highest political level, the United Nations General Assembly. The prevention and control of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, preventable cancers, and road traffic injuries was discussed at the United Nations General Assembly this year by our Honourable Prime Minister, and this caught the attention of world leaders. This will help us build partnerships, mobilize resources in the fight against these dreaded diseases in Fiji. This is urgently needed in our country, and I plead to all our honourable members, including our opposition members, to actively support this move. Madam Speaker, our government has embarked on so many policies and programs across different sectors, which will positively impact on our health and well-being. Improvement of water and sanitation, roads and transport, free education, free health services, including increasing accessibility of essential health services to our rural population through utilization of our general practitioners, a free wide range of essential medicines to those who can't afford it, and strengthening tertiary care through private-public partnerships. Madam Speaker, health is a complex issue and should be everybody's business. The common myth is that health is the responsibility of the Ministry of Health, doctors and nurses. This is not true, let me tell you. As an individual, a family, community, non-governmental sector, the private sector, and all government agencies and ministries, health is our responsibility. And we should all actively put health at the center of all our development agenda and implement healthy policies. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I would like to quote what the late President of South Africa, President Nelson Mandela, once said while addressing the world leaders. I quote, "Hours of deliberation without fruitful action on the ground is time tragically wasted." Madam Speaker, this is precisely what is in the minds of our government under the leadership of our Prime Minister, Honourable Frank Bainimarama. We not only talk, but make sure that our policies have to be effectively implemented on the ground so that our people, especially those that are disadvantaged and poor, benefit and improve their lives. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I look forward to working with you and my fellow members of Parliament. Thank you very much.